Hey guys, so I kept playing the sorcerer deck, and I got to 41. Um, I'm gonna continue this streak and see, how close I can get to one. I just wanted to get to, the top 54 and went to bed tonight, but I'm gonna go ahead and do a deck profile. I know it's, a lot of people have done their own, but what I really like about this game is usually between like 3 to 9 card slots, or around like preference in this game because there's just so much flexibility. So I'm just gonna go over my deck profile. I play the one drop Crown Quartermaster. It just gives you that extra push early, and then I also like the dagger because I put it on my Daggerfall Mage um, on turn 4 sometimes, or on turn 3 if I have Skill Blacksmith because it costs 0, and so it can be executed, and so that just comes up way more than you think it would. So it's just a really good card that way. It allows that dagger that your opponent forgets about if you don't use it immediately. Allows you to trade when they're not expecting you to be able to. The fireball gets around early guards like Fighters Go Recruit, Tree Minder, stuff like that, and so you can just push the damage through. I only played 2 Enchanted Plate. I originally wasn't playing any Enchanted Plates. I was just doing the tomes. But I wasn't drawing enough, and I wasn't seeing enough items with Master of Arms. So I just wanted some more draw power, some more gas against those beefy mid-range decks, against the control decks, right? Shrieking Harpy, it's in every blue deck. We all know how amazing this card is. So important against Battle Mage, Orcs, any other deck that's trying to get aggressive like you are. Just slows them down enough, and also can help you take back the board if you start with a slower hand. Skill Blacksmith, just makes everything cheaper, all your items. The 3 toughness is actually really important because it can be firebolted, and a lot of people aren't running Crushing Blow. At least it's not as much as they used to be. And whenever your opponent plays a Wardcrafter or Daggerfall Mage or anything like that, it trades evenly with them because they have to go in twice into the Skill Blacksmith. So kind of nullifies the ward that's going on, which is great. Wardcrafter, it's amazing, gives anything ward so good. Might be the best 2-drop in the game. Just that resilience, solid card. Daggerfall Mage, definitely at least top 5. Super important. Can't play this deck without it. I know it's a legendary. When I started the game 2 seasons ago, I think this was the first thing I crafted after Odoving because I just saw, the value in it. That can't function without it. You just never see enough tomes. Okay, so Gardener of Swords is only at 2. I know in a lot of lists is at 3. I don't like that. I don't think that's optimal because you really only want to see Gardener of Swords on turn 5, turn 7, and turn 9. You want to see it on turn 5 so you can play it and Enchanted Plate and draw twice. You want to see it on turn 7 so you can play it and Tome and draw twice. Or you want to see it on turn 9 where you can play it and then Master of Arms, right? Any other time you play this card, you're playing a 1/1 for 3 Magicka that can get cursed, killed by any ping in the game. It's just really bad unless you play it immediately with the item. So since I want to see it later and I want to see it once I've pushed damage in and I want it to just refill my hand, it's a 2 of, and I think that's fine because I draw with Enchanted Plates and Tomes and stuff like that already. So it's perfect. I hate seeing this card early. If you see this card in your opening hand against like Battle Mage, just any aggressive deck at all, or even really control decks because they're just going to put guards in the way and you're going to play a 1/1 in the other lane that's not going to help you further your pressure, so 2 for sure. I don't like 3 at all. Haunting Spirit, I originally had Cunning Ally because like I said before, it's Cunning Ally when it hits is an amazing card. There's no doubt it might be the best 3-drop when it hits. But for me, I could run like 9 purple cards, 6 purple cards, and the times it doesn't hit, it just feels bad. But what I like about Haunting Spirit is it allows you to trade and then still keep the same damage on board. And then when you have these smaller, these ward creatures, right? So you play one of these on turn 2, you play it, you let that trade in, and now you've got a 5/5 with Ward. And it's just hard to deal with. And then so you can go through Thorn Hiss Mages like crazy. You can go through the early Preserver of the Roots with no problem. So Hunting Spirit's just a super solid 3-drop, super strong. Mace of Encumbrance, same thing as Harpy. It is absolutely necessary. You cannot cut this to 2. You cannot have this at 1. It has to be a 3 of. You will lose to Battle Mage. You will lose to other aggressive strategies when you start slower. This deck has no heal. You have to have the 3 maces. You have to. You will lose if you don't. Young Mammoth, 3-drop, 4/4. It's ridiculous. It's got the breakthrough. You run a whole lot of items to increase its stats, so you get even more breakthrough. This card is the best in this deck, I feel like. When you go this and then you follow it with Tome, there's nothing within a couple of turns that can contest this card. It's just going to push damage hard. And then, Lightning Bolt, it's even more reach. The Tomes, of course. The Blackworm Necromancer, I think it's completely fine, even though it's at 6 instead of cost 6 instead of 5. When you bring back the Daggerfall Mage that they just executed, or you bring back the Young Mammoth, it's just game breaking for them. They just wasted their removal spell, and so they wasted a whole turn on it. The card you're bringing back, and you're just adding even more damage to the board. So it's just really good. High King Emmerich, again, it's just more reach, and it also deals with Fighters Guild Recruit. There's those little annoying guys that are just in your way when you just need to go in and push the damage. And then what a lot of players do is when they try and race you, they'll set up in the other lane, and your wards just stick in your lane. So this guy can do 4 to 8 damage pretty easily if your opponent decides to race you, which I would never try and do against a sorcerer deck. Like, I know it sucks to try and trade in with them, but the sorcerer decks push so much damage. But it happens a lot where your ward creatures get ignored rather than contested, and then High King Emmerich just does a ton of damage. And then the Master of Arms, so good for value. It's nuts. There's nothing else to really say there. And then I did max out on the Supreme Atromancer, and I know I draw a lot, so you're thinking maybe 2's okay, but it's really not. The amount of reach and the amount of pressure you put on the board against any deck that's not blue that can run Ice Storm, it's just amazing. And when it was at 2, previous versions of the deck I tried, even though I drew a lot, you only start off with 3 cards out of 50, and it's just, you just want to see this card. It's the best finisher in the game. There's no reason to not run 3. When you summon the first one, your opponent's going to do everything they can to get rid of that Supreme Atromancer. So it's always good to have another one. And if they don't get rid of the first one, the second one's coming out and doing 10 damage. So you basically play the game early by bashing their face in. You get to the Atromancer to finish them off, and the whole deck just keeps refueling itself, and you get to see the Atromancer very consistently because we're running in at 3 and because we draw so much. So that's my sorcerer deck list. I don't see any reason why I'm just not going to keep continuing to climb the ladder with it. It's not a difficult deck to play. The only reason I'm playing it and make a deck profile on it is mine is a little, they're all a little bit different. I just wanted to explain my choices to you. And whenever you get to the high end of the ladder, it feels really unfortunate whenever you're trying to be like an innovative person, or you're trying to play something that's just not the best thing that you could be playing, like Ultra Monk or Archer deck I was messing with earlier today, and you get smashed to pieces by someone else that's playing Aggro Battle Mage or Sorcerer, So you don't want to do all that work, get up there high in the ladder just to have your face bashed in. So, but out there, just let me know what you guys thought. That's my deck profile. Thanks for checking it out.